alone, but not lonely. What does that even mean? The words are used synonymously, right? It's lonely being alone, but it's also lonely being in a group of friends. Like, just think about it. Have you ever been in a group of friends where they leave you out or you feel left out and you're just like, oh my gosh, this sucks? See, in my opinion, I prefer the being alone and lonely. Our life is going to be spent more alone than with others. So we should be comfortable with ourselves, right? I am recording this like while somewhat sick, so if I sound like a crazy person, I apologize, but you should have seen the other video I tried to make. That was even worse, but you won't see this. This is the new one. So here we are. You know, I was thinking today about what it means to have a friend. Like, a lot of the times in our life, we don't want to be alone. We want to have people, we want to have friends, we want to have connections. With that, we make friends, we're close to family, but what happens when those connections break? What happens when we're scared to be alone? What happens is when you're scared to be alone, you get attached. You get too attached to the point where you will sacrifice things just so you're not alone. Being alone is not a bad thing. I used to be the type of person to be like, oh my gosh, this sucks. I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody to talk to. And with that mindset, I would just stay at home because it's just so embarrassing to be alone, right? No, it's not. It's not embarrassing to be alone. I'm gonna tell you this straight. It's okay if you don't have any friends. It's okay if you want to go out and do things alone. Go ahead, go out. Go to that beach. Go do whatever you want to do. If you want to do it, then just do it. Why can't you do things that you usually do with friends? You can take yourself out on a date. You can take yourself out on whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. We have friends for that connection, but that doesn't mean the only connection you can get is from friends. Me going out and just talking to the cashier or the barista that's making my coffee is already human connection. You need human connection. Like, that is number one. You need connection. You need to have people around you. Because if you don't have people around you, you're gonna start to get in your thoughts. You're gonna be like, oh, what's the point? People make your life interesting. But you don't need friends to succeed. You do not need people to succeed. You can still continue to pursue your goals and to reach your dreams without those people, without friends. I mean, it's nice to have friends, of course, but you need to accept that you can and you are allowed to succeed without other people. There are going to be times where you feel alone, like completely alone. You're gonna be in situations where there's gonna be times where you have nobody else but yourself, and it's gonna feel very lonely. But you have to remember that you always have yourself. In the beginning, you have yourself. It starts with you. Your friendships start with you. You cannot make a relationship or a friendship without starting a relationship with yourself. If you do not have a healthy relationship with yourself, your self-love, your self-esteem, then you will not have a good relationship with other people. Because even if you don't mean to, you are going to eventually bring those people down with the way you talk about yourself. And that sounds really weird, but that's what happened to me. I used to be the most insecure person ever. I would talk about my life and I would forget that there's a whole nother person there. And I would just talk and talk and talk and talk. You have to remember, there is another person right there. If you do not have a good relationship with yourself, if you are not comfortable with being alone, you will not be comfortable in situations with other people. There will always be times where you're going to be alone without other people. And you know what? That is okay. Well, if I don't have anyone to go out with, if I don't have any friends to go out with, I'm not gonna go at all. Because that's embarrassing, that's weird. No, absolutely not. Please do not think that way. You think that other people are staring at you when you go out because you're all alone. It doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. If you want to go out and make friends and you're just like all alone, you don't have a group of friends to go make friends out with, that's okay. You could just go anyways. Don't be embarrassed about trying to live your life alone. You can still go to the beach alone. You could still go to the mall alone. You could do whatever you want to do alone. Because in the beginning, it's you. And like, even in friend groups, I feel like the feeling of being lonely in friend groups rather than the feeling of being lonely alone, I personally think that being alone and lonely is much better. Because you don't have all these other thoughts running through your head. You don't have those thoughts like, oh, do these people really even care about me? Do they really think for best about me? Like, oh, maybe they just don't like me. Maybe they just hate me. No. Those thoughts probably aren't even real. Like, I'm telling you this, when we feel bad, when we come to a conclusion, right, we will find things to make that conclusion sound right. That is not the way to think. You need to look for facts before you look for a conclusion. Maybe you have a conclusion, oh, your friends don't like you, your friends think you're annoying. That could be completely untrue, but if you believe that in your head, you are going to find little tiny things that agree with your conclusion. You cannot think that way because that is just your head playing with you. That's just your head messing with you. You have the power to make a conscious decision, to make a factual decision. Because most of the time that isn't true. Remember, I used to be the most insecure person and I would always do the same thing. I would think that, oh my god, my friends hate me. And then I would be lonely and just sad and my friends would ask like, what's wrong? And I'll be just like, oh, it's nothing. Sometimes you want to be alone, but at the same time, you want other people to be with you. And it's just that weird mixed feelings. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. But your feelings don't have to make sense. You realize that, right? Because it's your feelings. Feelings are feelings. There is nothing in the world that somebody can tell you that, oh, what you're feeling is stupid. It's still your feelings and you cannot ignore that feeling. Sometimes it just keeps boiling up and it just keeps running back into the back of your mind no matter what you do. And that's something that you get over with time. There will be a point in time where you're able to separate your feelings from facts. The more facts you look at, okay, do my friends really hate me? Do I really feel lonely? Or am I really all alone in this world and everyone hates me? No, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna just physically be around people. I did not have a lot of friends for an entire good year, okay? And that was like one of my worst years because I was just starting to learn how to be alone. There was a time where I was just very gone from the world and I just wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to initiate myself into anything. I didn't want to go out. It was, to me, it was like, what's the point anyways? Like, who cares? No, the point is you need to go out whether or whether or not you want to. I understand there are going to be days where you just want to stay at home, where you just want to do nothing but just lay in your bed because you have all these thoughts running through your brain that tell you, oh, nobody cares about you. There are over 8 billion people in this world and you're telling me that not one of them can be your friend or not one of them will be able to really give you that human connection? That's not true. If you keep running through your head that you're a lonely person, that you're all gonna be alone for the rest of your life, that is gonna be how your life is set to be. Because you're telling yourself that and you're trying to find facts to come to that conclusion. If you feel lonely, the best medicine, the best antidote is to get out of your house and leave. Be around people. Even if you're mentally feeling that you're lonely, as long as you're physically not lonely or not alone, you will feel much better about yourself. Because when you have these thoughts in your brain, well, oh, I'm so lonely, I feel so upset, and nobody cares about me, but now you're around other people, even if you don't know these people, like these people could be random people and they're just walking by you, it will feel better because you're still exchanging that human connection. You're still around people, around other people that are more positive. You want to be around positive people. You just have to be. You don't want to be around negative people. And that goes back to you. Remember when I said you don't want to be at home, you don't want to be in your bed if you feel upset and you're feeling negative because you don't want to be around negative people. And who is a negative person in this situation? It's you. So you need to leave that negative behavior behind and you need to go out. Because another thing is like, I used to think like, oh, I'm just gonna be at home and whatever, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, how are you going to find friends if all you're gonna do is stay at home alone? How are you going to find people that connect with you if you don't leave your house? It doesn't make sense. And you know what? That's okay that it doesn't make sense because I told you this before, it is your feelings messing with you. And even if you just feel upset, even if you just feel like, oh, I don't want to get ready, literally brush your teeth, put on a pair of sweatpants, a t-shirt, and just sit outside at the park or something. Or maybe get a cup of coffee or do something, go reading. It will make you feel better. Because in a way, it's kind of distracting your brain to think like, oh, well, I am focusing on something else right now, so I can't deal with your nonsense behavior. So I'm gonna focus on this. I'm gonna focus on reading. I'm gonna focus on sipping on my coffee. Sooner or later, you will find this as a healthier coping mechanism. My coping mechanism during that time where I was very lonely was staying at home and crying. Just crying. Crying is not a bad thing, but if you cry too much, if you cry in excess, it will just bring you down. Crying helps you let go of things. But if you continue to keep those things up and just cry, there's a point where you need to move on, where you need to leave, where you need to get ready to build your life back up. Because yes, you can let your entire self up. If you want to cry, go ahead and cry. Cry your heart out. It is okay to cry. It is okay to let things out, because if you keep bottling it up, it won't help you. It won't. And in a way, like when you're alone, you definitely feel more comfortable to show your real self, because there's like nobody else around. And that's another reason why it's okay to be alone. It is okay to be alone. Like, it's okay to be alone, guys. It is. It's perfectly fine. I remember being very embarrassed as a kid when there was times where I didn't have any friends, and when people would ask me, they would be like, "Oh, Snowy, do you have any friends? Your friends at school?" And I would be like, "Yeah, but really inside I know that I don't have any friends." It's not a bad thing to not have friends. I have no friends. It's okay. You're not always going to have no friends. You cannot be telling yourself that you are going to be lonely for the rest of your life. It will get easier. I promise you, it will get easier. It is not gonna be the end of the world. It is never the end of the world. You have so many days, but at the same time, you don't. Every single day you wake up. You don't expect to not wake up, but every single day, it is such a blessing for you to wake up, because there are so many people who can't wake up. So what? Oh, you can't spend that day with somebody else. Spend it with yourself. You do not know when that day will come to an end. Spend time with yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Buy yourself your own flowers. Do whatever. You don't need other people to succeed, and it's definitely nice to have people beside you, but you have to be comfortable with being alone, because again, a lot of your life is going to be spent alone. You are going to have times where you're going to be crying in the bathroom. I literally have cried in the bathroom, and those are some of the worst but also the best moments, because it truly gets everything out. But once I'm done crying in a bathroom, once I'm done getting the emotion out, you know what I do? I literally go straight out of the door. I go to my favorite coffee shop. I go to my favorite beach. I do anything to make sure I have human connection. Because all of these people having fun, all these people having positive energies, it's helping me. It makes me happy seeing other people happy. And sometimes we feel jealous of other people, and that's okay, because that's another human emotion. But you will learn, once you are able to bring your self-esteem up, once you're able to bring yourself up, you will learn to be happy for other people. Continuing on, there are going to be times where you are alone. And there are going to be times where you wish you weren't alone. And then there's gonna be other times where you wish that you were alone. Say you're with a friend, right? And you feel like you just want to burst out crying. Those are the times where you're gonna want to be alone the most. You know what? Final words. The only message I have to share for you this week is, it is okay to be alone. You will succeed. But remember, in the beginning, it is you. I am so glad I got this. I was gonna do this, this video was supposed to be on schedule, but I was sick. I feel like, I don't know if you can still hear my stuffy nose, but it was just I watched that other video. I was just so drained and out of energy. And sometimes you just need the energy to be able to process and show people the message. So yeah, this is this week, and I want to say thank you again for all of you guys' support. I love you guys so much. I genuinely love doing these videos. I love editing them. I just love being able to read your comments, and I do read your comments. I do, and I thank you for all of your love and support. So I will see you guys next week. Hopefully I will get this video edited and done tonight, and yeah, bye.